Dear students, today we are going to do unit number 5. The name of the unit is The Rain. It is a poem written by W.H. Davies. The Rain by William Davies or William Henry Davies is a very beautiful poem written by him. W.H. Davies has written so many poems, and the theme of his poems are related with the nature. So, The Rain by W.H. Davies is a presentation of how rain falls on leaves of a trees. The poet has presented one of the nature's most beautiful and attractive phenomena. So, we are going to read this poem with an explanation. Okay, students, now come to page number 56 of your textbook. The Rain. I am going to read the poem, stanza voice, and afterwards we are going to do the explanation. Stanza number 1. I hear leaves drinking rain. I hear rich leaves on top, giving the poor beneath drop after drop. 'Tis a sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. And when the sun comes out, after this rain shall stop, a wondrous light will fill each dark round drop. I hope the sun shines bright. It will be a lovely sight. So, we are going to do the explanation of the poem. Stanza number 1. In stanza number 1, the poet says, I hear leaves drinking rain. I hear leaves, rich leaves on top, giving the poor beneath. Beneath means under, drop after drop. 'Tis a sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. So in the very first stanza of the poem, the poet W.H. Davies says that he often hears leaves drinking rain. Here the poet talks about rich leaves on the top of the tree. He is basically talking about, and the leaves which are on the top or on the upper side of a tree, what they are doing, they give the poor beneath drop after drop, which means that the rich leaves on the top of the tree drink the whole water because they are on the upper side of a tree and they directly get the rainwater, and this is how they quench their thirst. And the poet says that there are other leaves as well which are under the top leaves. So the rich leaves on the top of the tree drink the whole water and give the poor beneath who are under them drop after drop. So here the word drop after drop means very little. It means that the rich leaves which are on the upper side of a tree drink water, and then afterwards what they do, they give very little drops of water to the leaves which are under the thick leaves or the rich leaves, or which also means whatsoever is left over is given or provided to the poor leaves. Here the poet has used rich leaves and the poor. Rich leaves, the poet is basically talking about the people who are rich and enjoying all the luxuries of life. And poor, the word the poet has used, which has a symbolic meaning. The poet talks about the poor people who are deprived section of the society, and what they get while living in such a society, whatsoever is left, whatever remains. So they get drop after drop means very little or something which is left over. So further the poet says that the noise of those green or the rich leaves drinking the rain is sweet when heard from near. So the poet says that 'tis a sweet noise to hear. So here 'tis basically is it is a sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. So the poet in the very first stanza makes describe the theme of the poem. When it rains, the leaves which are on the top get the most of the water and hence look greener and healthier. as compared to those which are under them, because whatsoever is left is given or provided to the poor ones. So the rich leaves, or the leaves which are on the upper side, they are the green leaves because they are healthier, they get more water, and as compared to those who get something which is left over or something which is in a little quantity. So here the poet is not talking about leaves but about humans, because the poet has used the word poor and rich as a symbolic meaning. It has a symbolic significance because the poet is talking about leaves so that he could talk about the humans. He is describing the sharp division between the rich and the poor. And the rain here symbolizes money and the resources, because the word rain, it has also some symbolic significance, symbolic meaning, as the poet has used the word poor so that he could describe the poor or the deprived section of the society, whereas the poet describes the rich leaves or the upper leaves, talking about the rich people who are enjoying the all luxuries of life. So here the word rain, it has also got the significance and it has a symbolic meaning as well, because rain here symbolizes money and resources. According to the poet, rich people take away all all the luxuries. They are enjoying all the luxuries of life. When it rains, the leaves which are on the top get the most of the water, and that is why they look healthier and they look greener as compared to those which are under them. So the poet has given a description of the poor people and the rich people, just to talk about the rich people of the society and the poor people of the society. Here again the poet has used the phrase sweet noise, and sweet noise is a figurative language that the poet has used, which is an oxymoron. And this is a new figure of speech you must have been learning right now, because noise is never sweet. We know noise is a word which is never sweet. So the poet is criticizing the rich people who are taking away everything and giving almost nothing to the poor. So this sweet noise to hear is an oxymoron, which is a figurative language that the poet is using over here. So in the first stanza, we find that the poem is not about the nature or the leaves, but about greed of the rich. And it also, the poet also talks about the hardships of the poor and their inability to take anything, because rich never allows them, and poor people wanted to get something but they do not get it. What is the reason? Because rich people never allow them. So this stanza seems to be pessimistic. It shows pessimism, and pessimism in English language, what does it convey? What does this very word mean? This very word means that the poet is basically giving a very dark picture of life. Dark picture, which means a pessimistic. It is not a bright picture of the society that the poet is describing over here. So this pessimism we can find in the very first stanza of the poem, as it describes the dark side of the city life.